Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and today I'm going to be talking about the Chevtone Effects Honeyburst Overdrive. The Honeyburst is a super versatile overdrive from Adam at Chevtone Effects. These guys are making some really cool stuff, and they're a very small UK boutique builder, so please check them out. Their pedals are fantastic. The Honeyburst is what Adam refers to as your amplifier's best friend. So this is like I said, super versatile. It's voiced as a low gain overdrive. It's great for boosting your tube amp into natural sort of breakup and saturation. But if you push this thing, it sort of goes into a fuzzy-like texture at the top end, which is pretty cool. It adds to the versatility. It's not designed as a high-gain overdrive. It's designed as a little bit of a boost to kind of sweeten your existing tube amp sound. Great with both clean and overdriven amps. It's a very simple layout. We've got the volume control, which is obviously the volume of the pedal. We've got the tang control, which is the amount of gain, and the sweep control, which is the overall tone of the pedal. So you can make it quite bright or quite dark, depending on what your rig is. It's really designed just to find that sweet spot between the pedal and the amp. This is designed to be fairly transparent, so with this sweep knob, you can kind of dial in that spot where the pedal isn't doing too much tonally to the difference between your guitar and amp, but it just gives it that little bit of a kick that it needs. It's also got 3 different clipping modes as well, which is really cool. So in the up position, we've got a silicone clipping. In the middle position, we've got LED clipping, which is the most transparent and sort of cleanest of the 3. And then in the bottom position, we've got germanium clipping, and this is where it really starts to get into some of those fuzz territories. Like everything that Adam builds, all of the Chevtone effects are handmade. Everything is done to order, and he uses some incredibly high-end components. These pedals actually look amazing inside as well as outside. So you're going to see a couple of shots flash up on the screen of what this thing looks like on the inside. It looks like a tube amp. He uses all these big high-end components, all hand-selected, hand-measured for each pedal. So when you order one of these, it's basically built for you at that point in time. So let's get this thing plugged in now and hear how it sounds. For this video, I'm using my Shergold Guitars Provocateur, which is plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6. I've got the amp running on the clean channel so you can hear the full range of what this thing can do. The amp is mic'd with a Lewitt Audio LCT 440 condenser mic. So we'll start off in the silicone clipping mode, so that's with the clipping switch in the up position. I'll just start with everything at midnight, and then we'll tweak it a little bit from there. So instantly you can hear that bite of a silicone transistor. So now we'll start tweaking a little bit. So I'm going to get some lower gain sounds first. So let's bring the tang down, and we'll darken the tone up slightly by bringing the sweep control down. One thing that's great about this pedal is it's voiced to work really well with both humbuckers and single coils. So you heard it there through a bridge humbucker. Now we'll have a P90 neck tone. Now let's push the gain up to just over halfway and we'll add a little bit of brightness to this. So you can hear it's just starting to break up into like a silicone fuzz kind of thing. So if we go all the way up now with the gain and all the way up with the tone, we will get quite a stuttery kind of silicone fuzz vibe. So you can hear it doing that fuzz thing really well where it kind of collapses in on itself. I love that sort of sound. Now if I go all the way down on the sweep control just to give you an idea of the kind of boomy fuzz sort of vibe you can get from this. So while it's not designed as a fuzz pedal, it kind of does that well. So let's go now to LED clipping mode. So I'll reset the pedal to the midnight position. LED clipping is the smoothest type of clipping out of the three. So obviously you've got the silicone, which is the brightest, it's got the most attack. The LED is the most transparent and most neutral sound. So what we should hear is even with the gain in the more extreme positions, it will sound cleaner. Definitely a clearer sound there. Now let's look at some lower gain sounds in this setting. So I'll take the tang and the sweep down a little bit, keep the volume on about halfway. Now so far out of all the tones, that's my favourite one yet. I really get a bit of a blues breaker vibe from that. It's that sort of, there's a bit of a mid push to it. It's not totally transparent. I'm definitely hearing more mids there, but that could also be because I'm playing into a 6L6 loaded amp, which is primarily sort of American voiced. But that to me does kind of put those mids back in a 60s blues breakery sort of way. So I really like that tone. That is a tone that I would absolutely use every day of the week because I love that low gain breakup thing. So let's go a bit harder on the gain now. I'll bring the volume down to compensate. So I'd say we're firmly in that mid-humped Marshall-y kind of sound there. Let's go a bit harder on the gain. Now let's just go all the way up and see what it does. So while that doesn't turn into a fuzz like the silicone clipping did, it does get quite sort of full on and quite boomy sounding, but in a good way, not in a sort of overpowering way. That would be a really cool lead boost tone if you had the volume cranked as well and you wanted just a real fat sort of single note sound. I think that would work really well for that. It would really just fatten up those single notes. Really cool sound. So I'm going to reset the pedal now and we'll look at the Germanium mode. So the Germanium clipping is the one that's sort of most reminiscent of fuzz. This is where you get a real bloom to the notes. The notes are a little bit sort of spluttery and a little bit glitchy. Germanium clipping in an overdrive pedal is great fun because you can get that just about to break into fuzz kind of tone, which is really cool. If you imagine you're running like a Marshall stack with a fuzz face on really low, you can dial that tone in here. So let's have a look at the Germanium clipping with everything at midnight. So you can hear we're definitely going into Germanium fuzz territory. So let's dial the gain back a little bit. I'm going to make this one a little bit brighter actually, because Germanium by default is usually a little bit darker sounding. So with the Germanium clipping selected in a low gain mode, it's got that cool kind of, not glitchy, but there's a bit of a harsh breakup there, which is really cool. Kind of like a real loud cranked amp. I really like that tone. It's kind of got that rolled back fuzz thing. So let's give the gain a bit of a hit in the Germanium mode now and go up full. between those three clipping modes, there's a lot of tones there. You've got silicone, LED, and germanium style clipping. Obviously each one has a great low gain characteristic and a great high gain characteristic and everything in between. So I can really see why Adam from Chevtone refers to this as your tube amp's best friend. Because I think whatever sort of amp setup you use, there's something in here that you can dial in. Whether that be a low gain boost into an already distorted amp, or even the way I showed you earlier with the LED clipping, where I kind of used it like a blues breaker sort of vibe. Just on the hint of breakup into a clean amp sounds great. Or you could have a totally clean amp and use it as a high gain pedal, so you could really kind of push the gain levels, not quite into fuzz. So maybe if I was playing on the germanium mode, I might set it about here, for instance, maybe like just below 3/4 of the way up. This would give me a less fuzzy tone. Or on any of the other clipping settings for that matter, where I can get that sort of big amp vibe, just a nice fat overdrive sound. It's really great actually as a utility pedal to boost other things, to boost the amp, to boost into other pedals, to fatten up single coils. There's a ton of great uses for this pedal because it's got so many different voices inside of it. It's not a one-trick pony. I think every person that tries this thing out is going to find a different application for it in their own setup. And even more to the point, if you're using different amps, you'll probably tweak this thing between different amps. But that's kind of the joy of it. It's one of those pedals that sort of does everything. If you need one overdrive pedal that you can use for a lot of different sounds, I really think the Honerburst Overdrive is definitely a strong contender for something that every player should check out as their sort of tube amp's best friend. So there you go guys, there it is. There is the Honerburst Overdrive from Chevtone. Thanks so much to Adam for sending this down to me to check out. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, and I'm a big fan of his pedals. I love this, and I love the Messiah Drive, which I've used in a bunch of other videos as well. If you haven't checked out the demo for the Messiah Drive, please do. The link will be in the top corner of this video right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below in the comments what you think of the sound of the Chevtone Effects Honeyburst. I'm a big fan of this. I've been waiting a while to demo this pedal, and I'm really glad I finally got it here. I love the tones this thing has to offer. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys think of it. There's some links down below in the description to Adam's website and social channels, so please go and give these guys some love. Chevtone are a newish company. They've not been going that long, and they're still a fairly small brand. So let's give them a bit of a boost and get them out there, because they're making stuff that rivals the big boys. I think when some of you guys try these pedals for yourself, you will agree with me on this one. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, because you guys doing that really helps me to keep on growing the channel as well. So thank you guys so much. I will see you very soon.